Okay, I officially see 8:02. I am going to start this meeting. This is the February meeting 2020 of Lowcountry NORML, a South Carolina chapter of the National Organization for the Reform of Marijuana Laws. As always, we'll start our meetings with our disclaimer of all of our meetings are an environment of education and awareness and are not an open market for the sale, purchase, or distribution of cannabis. We do not encourage, condone, or condone illegal behavior of any kind. Go ahead and tuck that away. I'm going to start this this month's meeting by doing kind of a recap of last month's meeting, which was non-existent. And so if any of you are watching this video and come in and watch our monthly videos and go, well, why isn't there one from January? What happened in January? I forgot.
Got stolen by aliens.
Got stolen by aliens. Sometimes I feel like a conspiracy theorist, but I can't claim that. Although I that is a good segue into what I feel is the reason. Like I say, I forgot. As some of you may know that attended or heard about the potluck in December, I got sick the morning of. It progressed quickly. A few hours later, as people started arriving, I was barely able to greet them at the door, and I probably looked like I'm a dying mass of steaming shit. And
yes,
yes, confirmed. And I have.
I'm wondering what happened to all that food finally.
It all got it. It all
really?
Got,
wow.
It kept well enough because the fridge door didn't get open very much for the first 5 days, and that is what kind of nursed me back to health. Little nibbles of some of the apples and caramel that was in the fruit tray, and I worked my way through it. You know, made dinner for the wife and I with all of it. It all went. It all got it. Oh no, I fibbed. There was one thing, and I apologize to the woman that brought the chicken and mung bean salad, pate. It
just didn't quite
wasn't something that while I was in recovery was palatable to me, and a lot of times when I'm in that recovery, it's the digestive issues I have, and so it's got to be palatable. I just can't eat it. And it's weird because I do get some weird taste variations when I'm not well. With that said, is although I went through my normal cycle of being sick for about 5 days, a couple of days recovery, and then a week to kind of regain body weight. Well, it wasn't even that long till I kind of rehydrated. Something lingered. I'm not sure what it was. I'm not going to go into that right now for the meeting. It doesn't seem appropriate. But something's been lingering now for roughly just short of 2 months. So I've got a new doctor I'm kind of visiting and seeing if I can get that work done. So that's what happened to the mystery February meeting, if everybody needs to know or wants to know. All right, on to official business. Official business is federal level legislation. I am going to actually kind of start the meeting with, oh, where's the button I'm looking for? There it is. Screen sharing. Give me a second while I share a screen here. All right, there we go. Let me drag this down a little bit behind that title thing. You should be able to see up here at the top, NORML National website, NORML.org. One of the many tabs I've got open on my page. Good place to start what's going on locally. I think I'm going to start trying to use this as part of my agenda each month because it's as current as I'm going to get information of for the subject. Starting with, I was actually going to do a weekly legislative update, but most recent blog is tell Congress not to allow Trump to roll back medical marijuana protections. I'm going to click on over to that one. I was kind of reading through that a little bit. So I'm going to click back one real quick. You'll notice down a little ways, there was a mention of this happening, but now the budget has actually been proposed, officially proposed. And so if you click on that link from the story on their blog, you'll come over here. It gives you an opportunity at the bottom to sign our petition.
Okay.
And basically what it's saying is it's been 3 years and counting, but President Trump has now announced threatening to derail the progress made by reforming laws. It's the fact that he's kind of wiped out a lot of the amendments that typically have been put in, slashes all legal protection for state medical marijuana programs. There are usually amendments proposed to that, restricting how the DEA and the federal law enforcement spend federal tax dollars, and the amendments have been restricting them from spending them in legal states that have legalized medical marijuana or even recreational marijuana. But by stripping those amendments, that can open up the floodgates for those funds to again be used for those type of purposes, shutting down legal dispensaries and legal stores in legal states. So again, we have a petition there to sign, and I'm going to click out of that one. You can find that if you really need to. Go to NORML National site. You can go back and find that. Next, really where I want to go is the weekly legislative update. This is, again, besides the phone calls I make with National, probably the most recent information on the national level. And there's not a lot of national legislation to report on this week. Excuse me while I remove my glasses to kind of read my screen here. There was a legalization effort in New Mexico that was killed on a 6-4 committee vote. There was new approach to in Montana, a campaign committee behind a marijuana legalization ballot initiative in the state submitted a revised proposal. There's, as you can see, a couple of other things going on in other cities. 1 or 2 initiative petitions to put marijuana legalization on the ballot in Oklahoma was cleared for signature gathering. I don't know their process there. And again, they have state level initiative petitions where we do not. We'll talk about that a little later in our local efforts. Follow the cursor here. Always want to check NORML's Action Center for legislation pending in your state. So where are we going next? The Action Center. Couple of things I want to actually go backtrack a little bit to federal because I said nothing's really happening. In the NORML Action Center, when you go to their main website and you click this first button over on the lower menu, lower top menu, we'll call that, you'll come to the Action Center. And of course, there's the Support Marijuana Opportunity Reinvestment and Expungement Act, what's known as the MORE Act. That one has been moving along. I did not read anything about it today. I know it's moved through at least 3 committees. Just the fact that a marijuana bill like this is moving through committees is heartwarming. Of course, it could get all the way up to knocking on Mitch McConnell's door on his desk saying, you know, move me along, and it'll probably never go anywhere, but that's my own kind of opinion at the moment. I did get to talk last Sunday, not this past Sunday, but a Sunday week ago. I think that's right. To Congressman Joe Cunningham, who's our local congressman here. I asked him to sign on as a co-sponsor of the MORE Act. Also, secondly, you'll see on that list, tell your congressional representative to join the Cannabis Caucus, the Congressional Cannabis Caucus. So again, I did that. Let me bring this up to the camera real quick. I don't know if you all can see the shared screen and me, but that is the card of Jose Casey, who's the senior field representative for Congressman Cunningham. I spoke with him that day in a little more detail and a little more depth. I gave him some more of the information. And I'm going to be following up with him in the next couple of days. So again, push the point. It's not something that you can just ask once and it'll happen. Two other things I want to definitely mention there. There's the Veterans Medical Access and Veterans Medical Research bills. So that's the Support Veterans Medical Marijuana Safe Harbor Act and the mandate the VA can conduct clinical trials for medical cannabis. I don't know if you all had noticed this when I had highlighted to support the federal marijuana, the Ending Federal Marijuana Prohibition Act. I don't believe that one is moving anywhere, and I didn't have it open. Good. Okay. That is sponsored by Tulsi Gabbard and Don Young. I'm not seeing any real mention of who the co-sponsors are on here. Gives you an opportunity to write in and ask your representatives to move forward on that. Let me get back to where we were. And lastly on that group was the in banking, the Secure and Fair Enforcement Banking Act. So that is our federal level stuff. If you have any questions or comments on that, let me know. I'm going to unshare this screen for just once. Oh, what happens if I click that? Cool. Okay. Set that to the side. That is our federal level information. And next I want to go to, and this is kind of fun because when you go to that action center and scroll down further, you should find some state level action. Unfortunately, I do not see anything about South Carolina here on state level action. So I am going to turn this off for just a moment and I'll come back to it after that. State level, what we have is Bill H3660, which is the companion bill to S366, the South Carolina Compassionate Care Act. Main reason I'm bringing that up is, oh, good, where is it? On, I just switched back to the shared screen. Let me go and find it again. There we go. Today, I thought this was supposed to be happening tomorrow. Let me just read this and make sure I'm looking at the right one. I opened up the wrong bill. Let me go back here. Wednesday, February 19th, 2 o'clock. Well, there's the one I'm looking for. All right. Wednesday, tomorrow, 2 p.m. If you happen to be in Columbia, South Carolina, there is the Medical, Military, Public, and Municipal Affairs Committee, which is where the H366 bill currently resides. Sponsored by McCoy, Mace, Taylor, Bennett, Rose, Stavrinicus, and Gilliard. All of us know that the South Carolina Compassionate Care Act is the attempt at a very restrictive medical bill for marijuana here in South Carolina. There will be this hearing tomorrow. Let me see if I can back up on this a little bit more. A subcommittee, Health and Environmental Affairs, was going to be hearing this. That's Representative Christopher Hart is the chair of that committee. Rep. Crystal N. Matthews, Representative Annie N. McDaniel, Representative Robert L. Ridgway III. That is the committee, I believe, that will be meeting on Wednesday at 2 p.m. or 1 hour after the House adjourns, whichever is later. So if the House adjourns past 1 o'clock, calculate an hour from there until they get to room 110 of the Black Building in Columbia. Otherwise, South Carolina is, there we go, does have some decriminalization. Let's see where it is. I have it listed under right here, decriminalization. I'm going to click over that tab and refer to my notes a little bit. We have H4313 and as well as H3276. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, H3276, I do not have this one open, but most of these bills are very similar except for one point. H4313, that's General Bill by Heart. It's a bill to amend section 44-53-370 Code of South Carolina 1976 relating controlled substances, decriminalize possession of 28 grams or 1 ounce or less of marijuana, 10 grams or less of hashish, and to authorize law enforcement to issue a civil citation for possession of the same quantity. The Thigpen Bill 3276 also, and I don't have this one open on the tab, wants to reduce penalties for a gram or less of methamphetamine or cocaine-based products. And although I don't argue that, I don't think it would help the bill in any way. Separately, we also have down here 4803. And that is one I did open into a next page. 4803 is actually one of the things I wanted to talk about state level. That was a bill by Henderson, Myers, and Robinson. And if you come down below and look at below here, you'll see on just 2.5 weeks ago, Ivory Thigpen, who I mentioned on the last bill, has requested and been named a sponsor as well on this bill. So it has 3 sponsors. It's doing something for a South Carolina bill. Mind you, they're all Democratic representatives, but and so you don't know how much oomph it'll ever get. But if we were to push any bill right now on the state level, we would most want to push this bill. That's H4803. So I'll ask you to write your congressional representatives, your state level senators and congressmen to help back this bill, help move it along, try and get it out of committee. Also, you may want to check that committee, refer to committee. Which committee are we in here? House Journal Committee, it looks like. So you may want to contact those representatives and see. I'm just going to peek. Does this tell me who they are? Ooh, I don't see it in there. In the matter of watching my time, just because I don't know how much we'll end up having. It looks like at least another 30 minutes. I also wanted to mention in state level representation, let me go back here, H3444, that is a veterans with PTSD that have been diagnosed with PTSD, decriminalization for possession of up to 1 ounce. And people ask sometimes, why is that different? Why is there different decrim bills, for civilian and military purposes? There's different courts, there's different justice systems if you're military personnel or not. So that is pretty much state level. If you really want to, you can always go on over to, find the right picture, scstatehouse.gov, type in the word marijuana, Mine predictively knows I'm going there. Hit the button and you will find the 20. I'm not sure why that's so huge. Bills that have something to do in one way or another with marijuana in the state level here in South Carolina. I'm not really going to go over all of them. It's a bunch of information, I must admit, to sort them out. The only ones really seeming to get any play right now are H3660, S366, South Carolina Medical Marijuana Act, and remember H4803, decriminalization. We really want to contact our legislators on that one. You'll start seeing a push on our Facebook and our website on contacting your legislators on that. I apologize, maybe coughing again. Apologize for how I've been lethargic the past 6 weeks, and really not pushing, at least the past 4 weeks since I think they started meeting again at the State House, and not really pushing this information out to you and sharing this information out to you. A good solid 2.5 weeks since they've been signed on and gave us 3 people on this particular bill. I should have been shouting that from the rooftops, so I'll start now as best I can. So that is our state level. 24 minutes in. We're going to go over to local. And as you all know, with local level, we've been trying to work on our own municipal level initiative petitions here in Folly Beach right now. Folly Beach, because it's relatively close to me, so it gives me some access. We've got some numbers collected from last cycle, and it's my understanding, as long as the people haven't moved, they're still valid. Some of them may not be. I was just in a meeting this past Thursday with the students at the Students for Sensible Drug Policy at the College of Charleston. There was about, I'm going to say 8 to 12 students in attendance, and we mentioned we're going to start canvassing Folly Beach, knocking on the doors. We have a list that we purchased from the Board of Voter Registration to get all the list, a list of all the registered voters that are registered as residents of the city of Folly. My next step personally is I'm going to kind of get a map and try and start gridding it out and then picking days. We do have one student as a lead right now who's supposed to be starting to gather some students and able bodies that want to participate. As members of SSDP, they actually get some sort of credits for every hour that they're out signature collecting. So that's a plus for us. On the other side, they believe in the cause. So if anybody is interested in participating, helping collect signatures, or organizing, or having meetings on Folly Beach at your home or at your business, we would be thrilled to have you participate with us. Once we take care of Folly and actually get that on the ballot. I do want to backtrack a little bit on that. The other thing that we did spend some organization money on recently, I have in front of me, I've got some little notes, but I don't actually have the printout because I didn't print it out. We did a Freedom of Information Act request from the city of Folly Beach on their arrest statistics for the past 3 years, 2017, 2018, and 2019. It felt like they were dragging their feet on it, and what ended up that they came back to us with was 22 months of records instead of 36 months, and then a letter from their chief of technology stating that there was some sort of server issue from an old system that they used to use that they stopped using 22 months previous. And they got the server rebooted, but somehow corrupted permissions and can no longer access that information. So we've got little less than 2/3 of the information we requested, which gives me a very lopsided picture of how much of an issue marijuana arrests are, although it does give me some clear indications. And the reason we did that is basically somebody asked me, is it really an issue down Folly Beach? Definitely more of an issue in 2018 than it was in 2019. I really wish I had something to look back at 2017, 2016, because had I got 2017 and seen what the results were to that point, I may have requested some older records. Now I don't even know how far back I can go. I'd like to share this information with a newscast, news agency who might want to dwell a little bit deeper into why the caretakers of our information are just kind of losing access to it. But that's for that ramble on that. Let me get back to my agenda. Put this back over here. We will be starting to schedule some other decrim meetings coming up for that process and go from there. Other activities, we do have this Saturday our what we're calling a walk and bike instead of a wake and bake over at James Island County Park. We're asking, it costs $2 to get into the park, plus we're asking for $2 for adults or $1 per child to come and participate. Of course, out of that, we don't get a whole lot because the system takes fees, but we'll post a link down below or visit Facebook to get a link to that event. Our Facebook page is Lowcountry NORML. The other one that we are just getting in the process of starting to plan is going to be like a wake and beach. April 19th is the plan at this point, to not do anything really too formal, but invite you all just to come on down to the beach for the day. We'll try and come up with some nice perks if you show your membership badge while you're there. I'm thinking, we'll have bottled water, we'll have some snacks, and we'll have pizza time at maybe 1 o'clock or so. And you'll get free pizza. This will be a donation mini fundraiser event, as most of our meetups are. And I hope you can come out and join us. So that'll be April 19th. It's a Sunday. We'll cross our fingers for good weather. Talking about weather, this Saturday is supposed to be sunny and clear, a little bit on the cool side, but that's a good day for walking and biking if it's a little bit on the cool side. Our 2020 membership drive just ended. Have the book handy? Nope. We were giving away a free copy of I'm going to forget. Emerging Clinical Applications of Cannabis and Cannabinoids. It always takes me a little bit to remember all the wording. Which is now available on our website for only $10. Every copy, I think what we're going to do for every copy that you buy, we're going to ask you to designate your state level legislator. And for every copy we sell, we will send one to a state level legislator. Got some great information on it, especially if you are curious about the medical benefits of cannabis and cannabinoids. The other thing is, even though the membership drive did end, doesn't mean that we're not looking for members. It's the members that support our programs here and all the activities that we do. If you see me out on the street with our little pop-up tent, it's your memberships and your donations that help to get that equipment and get the fact sheets that we have printed up there and all that kind of stuff. So visit our website, normalsc.org. Other thing I'm going to do real quick, I know I'm probably running out of time, although I don't see a ticker running anywhere, is plea for board members. Do you have what it takes to help us drive change in medical marijuana legislation, or all marijuana legislation, state and federal level? we're looking for people that are committed to putting some effort into helping us administrate, helping us fundraise. Um, so dedicated board members, it might take, we're looking for somebody who can commit to a number of hours a week and X number of dollars that they can help us fundraise each month, whether it's by manning our table out on this at the locations where we're out spreading information, or whether it's having a little gathering in your own home and getting people to join and sign up and make donations that way. But board members are needed. It's been a while since I put out the plea, so I'll probably start again a little bit more with that. If you don't have those commitments to be able to be a board member, again, last thing I just mentioned is join us. And the last thing I will say before, besides that is, if you'd really rather not become a member, don't want to be on the board, but you still want to help our cause, make a donation. Make it a monthly donation through our PayPal, or make a one-time donation. Or if you'd like to promote your business, there's limited restrictions, but if you'd like to promote your business, contact us, lowcountrynormal@gmail.com. Again, you can contact us through the contact button on our website as well. That's it as far as my formal presentation of the meeting. I'll open up the floor if anybody has anything they want to add. The only other person I see on board is my dear friend and board member, our secretary, Karen Sultan. Karen, you've sat here and listened to me very respectfully without laughing too hard for the past half hour. You have anything you'd like to add before I wrap it up?
No, other than it would be cool if people would attend our more social events and try to bring a friend and maybe build that aspect of our group up so that people would see it as a real group and want to participate.
I think that's one of the problems I've sort of seen is when I did hold in-person meetings, there were times people would show up and sometimes good meetings. I think we had 17 people at one of the meetings in 2018. But there was a lot of meetings where I'd get there and it'd be me alone or one other person, or I think the one meeting it was.
Well, I'm thinking of emphasizing or expanding the meetups that we had, like
correct. And so that's why I made the switch for 2019 to the online meetings. And with that, I had a lot of people saying we still need to meet in person. So we have implemented the meetups. I really think the potluck was a success overall. Just the fact that people came, some of them stayed late. I didn't see a whole lot of it. And when I did see, what y'all were seeing back probably wasn't so pretty. So this is our first event since then. And again, with my being out of commission, I haven't really pushed it too hard at all. So you will see me pushing it in the next couple of days. And that's another reason why I'm trying to start scheduling these meetups just days after our online meeting so that I can sort of, maybe help spread the word through the meeting or the sharing of the meeting in about a day or two when I get it edited out. And I do want to grow on that. And I agree with you as well. So that's why we're going to try the every other month program on the meetups. And you and I can talk a little bit more, but the phone call with National today was again part of chapter organization, fundraising, things like that. And I really think we need to make any kind of in-person gathering, not necessarily a ticketed event like this active Action Network allows me to do, because I can make ticketed events or I can make unticketed events. But what I could do is make unticketed events with suggested donation. And what they were saying is, hey, I don't see most people complaining if we give them free pizza to make a $10 donation or to attend an event, because they've gotten their dinner covered or something like that with a couple slices. And they get that warm feeling that they've done something to help the cause. I don't see that so much here. But I'd like to try and follow that model a little bit. So I'm making the ticket prices on the ticketed ones sort of modest. And that's, even with the ticketing thing, it was just sort of helping me test this Action Network system. I think going forward, I'm probably going to make them as ticketed events with a donation suggested when you arrive, or something along the line, instead of having it a ticketed event where you make your donation as you're purchasing your ticket, because that doesn't give you an option.
Yeah, that's a good option.
And so moving forward, I'm going to do that. But
It's the can't hurt to ask option.
right. But moving forward, like I say, I'll kind of finish this with, again, begging for any donations we get from anybody watching out there. Go visit our website, find us on Facebook, come and meet us at our meetups. Some of them are free, but we'd like a donation if you don't mind. Otherwise, Karen, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Y'all, if you're watching this on YouTube or something later on, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Not next week. We'll see you next month, March. That's always, as always, it's the third Tuesday of the month at 7 p.m. Right here. Have a good night, all. Oh, I think
Bye-bye.
I'm share something over here before I can end the meeting. There you go. Bye-bye now.
Bye.